Welcome to this episode of the Harpreet Singh Show. ਅੱਜ ਦੇ ਸੈਗਮੈਂਟ ਵਿੱਚ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਮੁਲਾਕਾਤ ਕਰਾਵਾਂਗੇ ਸਪੈਂਸਰ ਚੰਦਰ ਹਰਬਰਟ ਨਾਲ। ਇਹ ਵੈਂਕੂਵਰ ਵੈਸਟ ਐਂਡ ਵਿੱਚ MLA ਹਨ NDP ਪਾਰਟੀ ਦੇ। ਆਓ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਅਸੀਂ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਇਹ ਕ੍ਰਿਟਿਕ ਹਨ ਟੂਰਿਜ਼ਮ ਦੇ ਵੀ, ਆਰਟਸ ਅਤੇ ਕਲਚਰ ਦੇ ਵੀ। ਇਸ ਸੰਬੰਧ ਵਿੱਚ ਕੀ ਸਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਸਾਂਝ ਪਾਉਣਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਨੇ। Welcome to the program.
Thank you. Good to see
Spencer,
you.
a little bit about yourself. Since how long you have been a politician and what prompted you to jump into this field?
Well, I was first elected in 2008, had a by-election. 6 months later, ran in the general election and was elected again. Before that, I was in municipal politics in Vancouver Park Board, and I want to get involved to make a difference. So thankfully, my community is agreeing with me and helping me do that. Tourism, arts, environment, culture, many different issues in Vancouver that I look at, but also, of course, all across the province.
Beautiful British Columbia, what we talk about, and you are a tourism critic for that. Let's take your input upon this particular issue, that from what are the challenges which you feel in tourism which we are facing right now?
Well, you'll remember 2010 we had the Olympics, big deal. The government at the time said that was going to grow tourism, double tourism by 2015. Unfortunately, what we had happen was they blew up Tourism BC, which was our tourism marketer for the province. 6 months before the Olympics. Then they introduced the HST, which was a bad tax for tourism, and continued. So, in fact, we had tourism go down after the Olympics. We're only now getting about to the level we were at in 2008. So we have a lot of problems, but we've been fighting to put the tourism industry back in charge. So put the business owners in charge. In the NDP, that's been our view. Finally, the Liberals have agreed with us that they made a big mistake when they blew up Tourism BC, and they're bringing back something they're calling Destinations BC. So many details to still be found, but we're working to do that because tourism, so many jobs, taxi, hotel, the restaurants. We're an incredible tourism province. We should be growing it.
So with that particular department not into existence, that was one of the major reasons that tourism was not able to come up at the level where it should have been?
I think that was one of the big reasons. Obviously, a high American dollar, the recession, all those things, that's part of it. But when other provinces have been growing and BC has been staying flat, we've got a problem. We should have been the #1 after the Olympics, but in fact we trailed much of Canada after the Olympics.
So how to keep BC and especially Vancouver as a top destination for tourists?
Well, we've got huge opportunities. The Asian market, so both in China and India, huge opportunities. So what we need to do is get all of the province's marketers, the businesses, to be joining with the amount of money we bring from government, to be doubling the amount of money we have that is actually going in towards tourism marketing in those areas. Unfortunately, many businesses do not have confidence in the Liberal government right now, and so they're holding their money back. I think if we have a obvious plan with Destinations BC, which is the same as Tourism BC used to be, that we're partnering with the industry, and it's not politics anymore, it's not the Liberals spending money on advertising, instead we're spending money on tourism advertising outside of the province rather than just in BC, which is what we're seeing now. We're going to do a lot better. It's about confidence. And I think, and being able to say BC is an incredible place, and saying that to the world, not just to British Columbians, which the Liberals seem to be focused on now with the election coming up. So, no, it's about get rid of the politics, focus on the business, focus on beautiful British Columbia.
Great. And before I talk a little bit more about your West End riding, basically, what is the type of issues, what are the type of issues which you are coming forward over there, and what challenges are the people facing?
We have a range of issues. St. Paul's Hospital, beautiful hospital in terms of its age, great programs, great staff. If there was an earthquake, it would fall apart. So we have our hospital. We need to renew the hospital. Big issue across the province. Another issue, we have poverty, homelessness, many people on the street, mental illness, addiction. And I think what we need to do now is we need to be getting those people off the street into housing, get them the drug treatment, mental health issues fixed, and also look at why they're ending up on the street in the first place. Huge cost to us. Not something we should be accepting in our society, but for too long it's been something the government has just said, oh well, what can you do? So we need to deal with that issue. We've got issues of child poverty, kids in families not being able to afford good food for their children, and I think that's hurts them in school, hurts them in education. And we know education's #1 issue for our future. Advanced education, a lot of young families and young students.
Okay.
They want to go to university, skills training, all of that kind of thing.
Right.
But the Liberals have cut education funding. They've cut the advanced education, the skills training, at the very time we need it the most.
Right.
So we've been working to increase education funding, to increase student grants, so families don't have to go into debt.
So virtually name it, and that challenge is in your writing.
Oh, you got it. Yes. No. Much the same as Surrey, Burnaby, wherever you go.
Okay. So Spencer, as an MLA, since it's been about 4 or 5 years you have been an MLA, what have you done to raise these issues?
Well, one of the issues we've succeeded on is an issue with rental housing.
Okay.
Many people are renters, some are low income. They weren't able to pay the landlord. Landlords come to me and say, my tenant is not paying the rent. Well, sometimes it's because they are sick or their child gets sick.
Right.
So no fault of their own. So just like Surrey has something called the Surrey Rent Bank, we managed to create this year for the first time a Vancouver Rent Bank.
Okay.
So young families who are through no fault of their own can apply, and as long as they're not cheats or something like that, they can get a small low-income loan, low-interest loan, and be able to stay in their homes, pay it back over time, and not end up on the street.
Right.
The landlord gets paid, family is supported, just a good microcredit kind of solution.
Okay.
One issue. St. Paul's Hospital, Liberals wanted to move it out of the community.
Right.
Our neighborhood organized. We organized and fought back, said, no, we need it here.
Right.
Finally, we got the Liberals to say, yes, you can keep your hospital.
Right.
But now we have to repair it. So we've had a couple of victories when we work together as a community.
Right. And also, as you have been a vocal advocate of against hate crime, you have been speaking on this particular issue. So is it a serious issue in your writing over there?
I think hate crime or discrimination, whether it's homophobia or racism or sexism, it's an issue everywhere. We saw a lot of hate crime against people because of the color of their skin.
Right.
I think we need to do a better job of making everybody feel welcome in British Columbia.
Right.
And so it is a challenge. People attacked because they are gay. People attacked because they wear a turban. We have these issues across Vancouver and across BC.
Right.
We're doing better than we used to be, but I think that's why we need to educate. It's in the school system. Because, we can do the hate crime and get the people charged, put them to jail and that kind of thing.
Right.
But somebody's been attacked.
So preventive measures need to be taken.
That's absolutely
Coming back to your role as a critic, let's talk a little bit about the new casinos which are being opened. What do you feel about those? What kind of deliberations should be there so that there's an involvement of the public also, do you feel should be, or just the government should take a decision and just enforce it on the people?
I think we need better consultation. Sometimes people feel surprised. New casino, all of a sudden, where did this come from? Big social problems that we still have to deal with. Addiction, people gambling too much. And the government, I don't think, has done enough to stop people from gambling when they're addicted. People who said, don't let me gamble, still ending up in the casinos. The money from gambling being taken away. We have many charities which receive profits from gambling. What the Liberals did was they took 30 million or so away from charities. We said, you must put this back. You can only expand gambling if more money goes to communities and more money goes to addiction treatment. Unfortunately, the Liberals have taken the other approach, which is to expand casinos, but then to cut money going to charities and to cut money going into addiction treatment and those kinds of things. So, no, you need that balance if you're going to expand gambling.
Okay, and towards the end, like you said, there should be that gaming revenue should be distributed evenly. But what about the expenditure of the government kind of on renovations and work which is being done for infrastructure development? Over there also, when we talk about accountability, do you think that this government has been accountable to the people at large or no?
Well, I think I go to the Auditor General. What does the Auditor General say? He says that the Liberals are misleading the public, basically, on the size of the budget. It's actually, he says, $500 million more in deficit than the Liberals have said. So, we have a real problem with accountability. When they ran in the last election, they said deficit $495 million maximum. What was it? More like $1.5 billion. So, people get cynical about politics. That's why Adrian Dix and the NDP, we say, we will tell you what we're going to do. We will tell you how we're going to pay for it. And if we can't afford something, we will tell you that too. Rather than pretending to be able to do everything on a limited amount of money.
Right.
You know, people get it. They manage their own books at home, their own budgets at home. They know that
Well,
you can only spend so much.
Absolutely. Let's hope what you are saying as an opposition member, if your government is formed in the next elections, as the polls are coming, you also remain accountable to the people, because ultimately politicians come and go. But as you said, the cynicism is increasing because politicians are saying something and doing something different. Nevertheless, thank you very much for your time, and pleasure having you.
Thank
and in
you.
future, during the election time, we'll have more election debates and more talk about elections and what your policies are, and especially focusing on the tourism, culture and art. Thanks and best wishes.
Well, thank you for holding us to account.
Welcome. ਸੋ ਅੱਜ ਅਸੀਂ ਸਪੈਂਸਰ ਚੰਦਰ ਹਰਬਰਟ ਨਾਲ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਕੀਤੀ ਹੈਗੀ। ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਆਪਣੀ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਕੀਤੀ ਟੂਰਿਜ਼ਮ ਬਾਰੇ, ਨਾਲ ਹੀ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਗੱਲ ਕੀਤੀ ਆਰਟਸ ਅਤੇ ਕਲਚਰ ਬਾਰੇ, ਆਪਣੀ ਰਾਈਡਿੰਗ ਬਾਰੇ ਵੀ। ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਮੁੱਖ ਉਦੇਸ਼ ਇਹੀ ਹੈਗਾ ਇਹ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਕਰਨ ਦਾ, ਜਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਕਿ BC ਸਰਕਾਰ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਕੁਝ ਪਾਲਿਸੀਜ਼ ਫਾਰਮੂਲੇਟ ਕੀਤੀਆਂ ਗਈਆਂ ਉਹ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਦੇ ਹਿੱਤ ਵਿੱਚ ਨਹੀਂ ਸਨ, ਅਤੇ ਨਾਲ ਹੀ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਕਿ BC ਲਿਬਰਲਸ ਹੈਵ ਨਾਟ ਬੀਨ ਅਕਾਊਂਟੇਬਲ ਟੂ ਦ ਪੀਪਲ। ਕਈ ਐਸੀਆਂ ਪਾਲਿਸੀਜ਼ ਆਡੀਟਰ ਜਨਰਲ ਦੇ ਹਵਾਲੇ ਨਾਲ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਦੱਸਿਆ ਕਿ ਉਹ ਜੋ ਕੁਝ ਕਹਿ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ ਉਹ ਠੀਕ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈ। ਅਤੇ ਮੈਂ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਕਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਕੀ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ, ਜਦੋਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਸਰਕਾਰ ਬਣੇਗੀ ਕੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਵੀ ਅਕਾਊਂਟੇਬਲ ਰਹੋਗੇ? ਤਾਂ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਇਹੀ ਮਕਸਦ ਹੋਣਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਸਾਡਾ ਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਜੋ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਉਹੀ ਹੋਈਏ, ਨਹੀਂ ਤਾਂ ਕੀ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਕਿ ਪੋਲੀਟੀਸ਼ੀਅਨਸ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਛਵੀ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਖਰਾਬ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਹੈ। ਆਉਣ ਵਾਲੇ ਸਮੇਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਵੀ ਇਲੈਕਸ਼ਨ ਦੌਰਾਨ ਹੋਰ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਬਾਤਾਂ ਹੋਣਗੀਆਂ ਇਸ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ।